Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation to present the Austrian model of prescription of cannabinoids. And the Austrian model, to start with, is a very different one to that of all other countries, because it relies in the medical use of substances out of cannabis only on single substances. At the day for medical use, THC, dronabinol, and CBD, starting now in medicine at a faster speed. Since the very beginning, the intention of all Austrian stakeholders, the Ministry of Health, the physicians' organizations, the patient organization, as well as the industry involved in cannabis research, was to familiarize the physicians with the vital role played by the endocannabinoid system for the maintenance of homeostasis. This is the maintenance of homeostasis and the education of the physicians, as well as the pharmacists and the players within the science related to cannabis for medicines. This led not only to the use, and the first substance we introduced 10 years before was THC, dronabinol, not to the use of dronabinol in internationally approved indications, but also for the treatment of new diseases in which, according to the latest scientific findings, and you have seen in the presentations of today, there are a lot around the globe. The endocannabinoid system plays a vital role, e.g. in geriatrics, neurology, psychiatry, oncology, and palliative care, as well as in the pain management, for example, which we have heard also today in the pain management, cancer pain, multiple sclerosis, and other indications. Now, cannabis, the medical use of cannabinoids in Austria relates to two groups. The first group is finished products, and the second group is magisterial drugs. Medicinal, homegrown cannabis is not permitted in Austria at all, and is legally always followed up and is not permitted. Finished products, we have three. We have Sesamet, Nabilone, since many years. We have Sativex as a registered, the only registered drug coming from cannabis extract, as well as Marinol, but Marinol in Austria is not available. And magisterial drugs covers the majority of all prescriptions. You will see it later. Dronabinol prescriptions come from two different sources of production. The former one was a synthetic or the semi-synthetic derived from CBD. And now, through a cooperation between the Austrian government and the industry, a so-called public-private partnership, Sativex cannabis sativa is cultured by the Austrian government in glass houses they own, and this is then gone to a private company in Germany called Bionorica, which makes out of these cannabis flowers, makes the final dronabinol, THC, which is 99% pure. So, and this product is then used in Austrian prescriptions Magisterial drugs are prescriptions of the doctors, are related to pharmacies, are brought to pharmacies, and pharmacies are allowed to a high degree of standards to make capsules or make liquids or even make also sprays and so on. So some, not all pharmacies in Austria have the right to have own laboratories within the pharmacy, and within these own laboratories they are allowed to make prescription drugs on demand. So now you see that for THC, for CBD, the situation is quite different. Why? CBD up to now has not been used for medical purposes, but it's now starting in Austria also with the pure substance, which is already available on the market, as well as the synthetic substance, which is also available. Extracts in CBD with a low content of CBD for non-medical purposes are, as dietary supplement, as cosmetics, are available, but their role is not very, let's say, important up to now. Synthetic cannabinoids, there's only one available, and this one is Nabilone. Nabilone is, strange enough, marketed in Austria as a magisterial drug. Now, what is the market in Austria? And you see that the market is quite impressive. About 4.5 kilo of dronabinol are processed as magisterial drugs in pharmacies. Nabilone is also to a lower extent processed in pharmacies as magisterial drug. And strange enough, in Austria, although it is only very, very close in the chemical construction to dronabinol, it's not classified in Austria as a narcotic drug. And about 4,500 patients in different indications per year, with an increase rate of about 20% the year, are getting prescription on these two cannabinoids. The Austrian government and the compulsory Austrian social security system reimburses about 50% of all prescriptions, although the prescriptions are sometimes in indications where other options are also available. Take the example of multiple sclerosis spasticity. But the law says that only then, if the prescription of the ordinary evidence-based medicine drugs have failed, then a prescription of a cannabinoid may be possible and also may be reimbursed by the government authorities. About 40% of the whole prescriptions are used in the hospital, in the hospital care, and this is. Now, let me turn. I have said the situation about dronabinol. Now let me turn a little bit the newer CBD, so cannabidiol, and the basic expectations in Austria and the role. The policy will be, although this is not a narcotic drug and not under this schedule, the basic will be that we will follow the same way in getting magisterial prescriptions in different indications, and this is the pathway which will be allowed also to be on the health scheme in a special role for the social security. CBD is found in many hemp, but not all cannabis sativa strains and are available in variable amounts. There is two ways to make the prescription. One is pure CBD, which can be made by synthetic processes, and the pure CBD can be also extracted to a high degree of purity from industrial hemp. And in some countries, at least in Europe, even if the CBD comes out of cannabis, it is to some degree a concern to some governments. We have heard from Mr. Bachter how this situation is. But in Austria, it is no problem, and the importation of purified natural crystalline CBD is not forbidden or not even impaired in the one or the other way. Products are legal as long no THC is present, and you know the THC is currently an issue in Europe, not only by the health authorities and the EMA, European Medical Agency, but also by the EFSA, which is now disputing the degree of THC content in food, nutraceutical, and for other purposes. The options for CBD are much more complicated than they are for THC. Why? The options for CBD can come from two different sources. They can come from extract, from a hemp extract, which has multiple components, and they come from the purification processes. There are several, from the industrial hemp through extraction processes to pure crystalline CBD. Mostly the hemp extract for CBD or for enriched with CBD extract, here comes the authorities into the picture, and here the THC content may be critical, even during the process of extraction. And where are they used today? Today, hemp extracts are used or may be used in cosmetics, in the body care field, in the nutritional field. As far as CBD content in this nutrition field is not intended to be an active ingredient. That is very important. Extracts may be also partly used for medical purposes, but that is an ongoing story, because that interferes with the let's say medical use, recreational use, and the borderline use may be seen. It's very more clear with CBD as a pure 99.5 crystal substance. From hemp, I have said 2 ways to produce it, and there are basically 2 very important usages available or possible. Let me put it that way. Pure CBD in a very low concentration is an antioxidant and a preservative, and may be used in future very much in the cosmetic, but also to some extent in the food additive business. That is It is not now not regulated either in Europe, not in other countries, I think not even in the United States, but it's an upcoming issue to all authorities on the national as well as on the European level to define when a substance can be used as a preservative, as an antioxidant in whatever thing. And lately coming to that, what we now have discussed the whole day, CBD also for medical use, for human therapies. Here CBD serves as an active ingredient, and we have just started in this respect with magisterial formulation of CBD with various other countries. For example, for Australia, we have managed in a pharmacy in Austria for a neuroprotective study in Australia using CBD in different strengths up to 200 milligrams and in the pharmaceutical formulations. And we are also currently negotiating studies in epilepsy and in others. So the use of CBD will be much more broad, and but it relates all to the transposition of preclinical results to clinical studies. I think this is, in generally spoken, for the past 10, 15 years, the problem. The worldwide research has brought tremendous data on the level of preclinical, and but the transposition of this data to relevant clinical study has been very much behind that process, that dynamic process. And this Austrian model should try at least to overcome this gap in getting physicians educated first, and secondly using by personal prescriptions where they rely against the government, the patient and so on, to use this prescription by a drug which is made by the pharmacist. That's the role. And therefore we have a lot of physicians in Austria who look for international data on several things to implement or to try on a small scale in their own practice or in their own hospital, on the scale cannabis, or in that case either THC or CBD. In the future also formulations which we are already developing in a combination of these two products, like which we have with Sativex for the extract business. So that is our option. So that's I have already shown to you that the two production ways, and the important thing is that nature and both substances in Austria are coming from the cannabis plant and not synthetically. Nature makes always the right isomer. Nature is, and this is in THC as well as in CBD the case. So now let me sum up the Austrian experience and what we try to make it happen is up to the international research. It's very clear. The health benefits of cannabis in whatever application form it exists far exceeds its dangers. If you you can compare it with many, many other substances. This is the true for very, very long time. Much of cannabinoid use, for medical purposes at least, is still preliminary, because no controlled trials, no controlled things. But it adds up to a call for more professional, large-scale scientific, particularly clinical research. And I think that's also what Dr. Poli said, and what should be much more a European initiative, a little bit more coordinated, that the organizations, the academics, push this process. Generally, such processes, I have working for 30 years in big pharmaceutical industry. I know the way how research is going on, But this is typically a process which should trigger on a coordinated way national research institution to do protocols which can be, let's say, used in different countries at the same time. And this is, I think, the most important thing. Not blaming that industry is not engaging to the extent as it is desired, but particularly we should drive the process on a European, even on a global basis, on standards and protocols used in the medical research field. Thank you.